Hey guys, welcome back to Hummingbird Acres. It has been a while since we have done an update on our homestead property in Virginia. I think the last update I did was like April. So what I've done is I've put all of the little video clips together that we've done from April to now November to give you guys an update on what we've done and what we're doing next. So you guys can watch that right here. In June, we visited the homestead, but for this trip, it was more of a fun and family and friend trip. We stayed at the Sedalia Center. We were there for the Bluegrass Festival, so we heard lots of great music, and we had lots of friends come and visit us for this trip. Henley's best friend came with her mom and stayed with us for a while. Jamie's best friend from high school came with his son and stayed with us for a while. We were there a good 2.5 weeks, and it was awesome. The kids had so much fun playing, and then we got to explore some local creeks and just some hiking and some fun things for the kids to do. They all had so much fun, and our love for Virginia just grew. Something else we did on this trip, our big homestead project for this trip, was we started our Pollinator Garden. So while we were down there, this was our first big trip down there this year. So Jamie took almost an entire day to cut the grass, or if you can call it grass. And then after he did that, we started on our Pollinator Garden. And to do this, we put down a lot of landscaping mesh. The Pollinator Garden is going to be on that hill as you're coming in the drive, and it's going to be huge. So we started putting the landscaping mesh down. The kids had fun helping, rolling it down the hill, and then everybody got out their mini hammers, and we hammered in hundreds upon hundreds of landscaping staples. I don't remember exactly the size that this is when it's all done. I'll have to ask Jamie. But it took, I think in this trip, we used 2 rolls of landscaping mesh. And then in the next trip, we did 2 more rolls of landscaping mesh. And then in the trip after that, we did another 1.5 rows. So far, this stuff has done a great job staying down, and the soil underneath of it is ready to plant. In July, we actually did not get to visit the homestead. We took a family trip to New York and did some camping at Seneca Lake. But when we got back, we had plans. And boy, did we have plans. We loaded up the truck and the trailer, and we headed back to Virginia. Our goal for this trip was water and electric. Now, we already had electric on the property, but we wanted electric for our campers. So when we first got to the property, it all needed to be cut again. So as you can see, Jamie and my dad got the lawnmower out and the DR brush mower that we had got from a friend, and they started cutting the grass in the area that will be our campground. And cutting the grass actually took a good part of the first day that we were there. And then at least cutting that area. And then the following days, I cut the grass while they did other things. After they got the grass cut, they started digging a trench from our electrical panel to the right-hand side of the Connex box, which is where we determined would be the best place to put the campers. This is a temporary spot. We just needed to get the campers onto the property. So they only dug the trench down maybe 6 inches to a foot. And then in conduit, we ran electric for 30 amp service for our camper. And we ran 50 amp service for my dad's camper. And of course, we had to pick 2 of the hottest days in the world to do this project. But everybody's a trooper. The kids were troopers. They were helping. They did great. We were all very stinky and dirty by the end. But our goal was to get the campers on the property, and we only had, I think it was we had 2 days to do the electric and water. which were the two requirements for us to move our campers from the Sedalia Center onto our property. So as you can see, the trench, and we're trying to feed the line through. We did make the mistake of gluing these pipes together, something we would not do next time. We'll run the wire and then glue the pipes together. But we got the lines run, and then my dad and Jamie worked on hooking up all the electrical to the box and to the plugs for the camper. This was, like I said, a huge feat and a big investment into the homestead. We finished up the power on Sunday, and Monday morning, the guys came out. We actually hired someone for this. The guys came out to start working on the well, which was so awesome and so huge. I was so sad that I couldn't be there that day. But they came out. It was a crew of two guys, Cardinal Mechanical. Highly recommend them if you are local. And they started digging the trench for the water, and started working on the pump. We had previously bought a pump, and we were hopeful that they were able to use that pump, which they weren't able to use it, which kind of sucked, but it is what it is. They dug the trench, they dropped the pump in, and hit water actually fairly quickly. So the well had a lot of water in it, which was awesome. And then from there, they got it all run. We actually had a pressure tank that a friend had given us, so that kind of saved us a little bit of money. It's not the correct size pressure tank we need for what we want to do, but it'll work for now until we get things moved. But they got the pressure tank and the line run and everything set up behind the electrical panel. That is a temporary spot for this. We will be moving it to a more permanent spot once the weather gets a little bit colder. I guess there was one problem, something about their crack in the casing or something going down. I'm not 100% sure what the problem was, but we were super excited. It all got hooked up and we had water. So exciting. It was a little dirty in the beginning, but it did clear up. From there, we had to get the water tested, and it actually failed the first time. So we had to get it tested again the second time, and it actually passed. It was great. And we were so excited to finally have water and electric, which meant we could move the campers out. And that actually was a feat within itself. We were so nervous about moving those campers out and making sure they got up the hill. It was a little scary, but our camper went up like a charm, and my dad's camper went up just as easily, and it was perfect. It was perfect. And I want to say that it was perfect because we saw a hummingbird that morning before we left the Sedalia Center with the campers. So it was just meant to be. Also on that trip, in August, we took Nana around to visit a couple of homes and look at a couple of floor models so that she could pick what she wanted to build on the 1 acre lot that is at the front of our property. So we toured a couple of homes with her, and we really just took the time to enjoy the property and spend time as a family. It was just awesome. It was picture perfect, and I would not trade those days for anything. It was really the best, and the kids had so much fun. On that trip, we also had the grader come out and finish the pad for the barn. We had started this, I think, back in like March, and he was just dragging his feet to get it done. But he finally came out. He finished the pad for the barn, which was perfect and is awesome because in on that trip we also signed papers with a barn builder to come and build us our barn. So we really needed to get that pad done, and we needed to get it like set and settled so that they could start the barn, which they did in October, the very beginning of October. They started building our barn, and it was, oh my gosh, awesome. We did know they were coming. It was unfortunate that we couldn't be there for it, but Jamie was down, I think maybe like 2 or 3 days later, and the framing went up like so quick, and so did it. Like it got under roof, the trusses went up so quick. All of that got done in an extremely quick fashion. And then the siding, we did have a couple of hiccups with the siding, and they cut a piece wrong. Also, like the windows weren't correct, so they had to be returned. And there was like just a supply issue in general. So the barn, they said like a week to finish. It really probably took about 3 weeks to finish. But overall, we were so excited. They started it and they finished it in October, and we couldn't be more happy with it. So now the task becomes we are going to move our Connex box, which Jamie has gotten emptied out and ready to be moved. And when we go down in a couple of weeks, we are going to get it all organized because our goal is to have Thanksgiving this year in the barn. As you can see, we've gotten so much done on our homestead between April and now, which is the beginning of November. We have so much more to do, and we are so super excited to share this adventure with you. Stay tuned, hit the subscribe button and that notification bell. We have so many more big projects coming up, and we cannot wait to share them with you guys. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us at the farmhouse today, and we will talk to you soon.